Good evening, everybody. We're back again after a bit of a hiatus. But as you can see from my background, you know what the topic is today. It's been another crazy day. We've been saying it the whole year, but we've had our second crypto crash, major crypto crash today, following Terra Luna in June. And today it was a turn of FTX, followed by pretty much the whole crypto space, with Bitcoin pushing it into the 15,000 level, Ethereum pushing back towards the 1,000 mark and even getting below that. We've seen Solana absolutely taken to the cleaners, trading in the teens, right? Having been trading out in the 30s and 40s, and at one point been in the 200s. And at the center of all of this is FTX, with the FTX token down over 90% now, trading below $2. With Sam Bankman-Fried, the founder of FTX, pretty much on the verge of bankruptcy and potentially criminal charges, having been the crypto poster boy for much of this past year, with a net worth of close to $20 billion. So one thing we've learned with crypto, first of all, before we get into just what has actually happened, is how quickly things unravel. I mean, with Terra Luna, we literally saw in 1 day, 2 days, where the whole stablecoin just unraveled and everything just went, and it happened so fast, so quick. When people run for the exits, I mean, there's not enough liquidity to hold it up, and you just get an absolute mass exodus. And the same was true today, where we saw 25% declines across the board, across a lot of the altcoins. FTX, the run on it, crazy. There has been over $7 billion worth of withdrawal requests from FTX.com in the past 3 days. And, when you have that type of withdrawal request, you just can't survive. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. When someone hears something like your balance sheet is under threat, you're facing liquidity issues, and the next thing you know, people rush you to get your money out, and then that's the self-fulfilling thing, just absolutely just blows it all up. So again, it's been another painful day. I mean, it wasn't just cryptos that got absolutely smoked. There's a lot of these equities. Tesla keeps on getting smashed into the 170s now. It's likely that Elon was selling again after selling almost $4 billion worth of Tesla shares over the past 3 days, and it's very likely he probably sold some more today, as Tesla was down over 7%. We saw the semiconductors go lower again. The good thing was finally we saw energy coming down, as I am short ExxonMobil and energy ETF, so it was nice to see that finally come down. But yeah, not pretty for the whole portfolio today. And to be honest, I can't see many people that have really succeeded, unless you're short, of course. Then if you are, well done to you. But let's have a quick recap, and I'm sure it's been, a lot of you guys have already read it, what's happened, but we can do a quick recap. So let's look into FTX. So this all started yesterday. It really started to unravel yesterday when FTX asked Binance for its help, noting that there was significant liquidity crunch, and to protect the users, Binance have signed a non-binding letter of intent intending to fully acquire FTX.com and help cover the liquidity crunch. Binance did note that they will be conducting a full DD in the coming days. So that's how it started, and with that, we had a brief rally in cryptos at that time, but then after it was short-lived and it went the other way, and pretty much as soon as Binance saw what FTX's balance sheet looked like, it was just curtains. But it all stemmed, and even before that, how did it even start, the whole thing? So if we look at the timeline, there was a tweet that the Binance CEO says that as part of Binance's exit from FTX equity last year, Binance received roughly $2.1 billion USD equivalent in cash via Binance USD and FTT tokens. And due to recent revelations that have come to light, and it still wasn't really clear what those revelations were, but they have decided to liquidate any remaining FTT in books. So that is the number one thing that started the whole train rolling. So there you go, Binance starting it all off, and then they were there to try to bail them out, and then that didn't work out. So again, it's basically lifting the sheets off what already was pretty much of a disaster on the books. And then he did go on to say that they will try to do so in a way that minimizes the market impact, and due to the conditions and limited liquidity, they expect to take a few months to complete. And he says a couple of more things. Then from there, if we look at the timeline for just looking at traded news and looking at the timeline of FTX, we saw Binance is looking to sell $529 million worth of FTT tokens. And before this, there was a rumor that Alameda and FTX, Alameda is Sam Bankman-Fried's entity, which then bore into the exchange, which is FTX. And then there was a rumor that they were on the brink of bankruptcy, resulting in mass inflows. And then on November the 7th, so about a couple of days ago, we did see Sam Bankman-Fried try to stem the outflows, tweeting, "A competitor is trying to go after us with false rumors. FTX is fine. assets are fine. So as soon as you hear that, you know there's trouble. And to be honest, the writing was on the wall there, and there was enough of a time to get out. But of course, things unraveled mighty quick. So we had that LOI, and then since then, it's amazing how this was a tweet on November the 8th, and things quickly escalated. We have, if we just go to what happened to basically today, they said that they will not be investing due to following their due diligence, as well as the latest news reports regarding mishandled customer funds and alleged US agency investigation. And the Binance have decided that they will not pursue the potential acquisition of FTX. Then he goes, sad day, tried, but cry face. So there you go. We had taken over FTX, letter of intent, due diligence. They probably open the books and go, wow, what the hell is this? Probably so much garbage on those books. Bear in mind that FTX did bail out Voyager, Celsius, I believe. I mean, all of those previous crypto projects and entities that were under such pressure, facing liquidity crunches following the Terra Luna collapse, were rescued by FTX. And we all wondered at the time, and I remember speaking to people as well, is how are they managing to do this? How are they the only ones that seem to be having this abundance of cash or abundance of liquidity to provide to these failing firms? And the key was here that they actually use their own token as collateral. So that was the biggest, I would call, scam in this whole operation. So the thing is that these tokens were very illiquid. And so even though they had a value of 3 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, if you actually try to sell it and realize that amount, you're never going to get that. You'll be lucky if you got a few hundred million, because such is the low liquidity of these, of those coins. So the thing is that they had touted their balance sheet and Alameda's balance sheet via FTT tokens, which was their own corporate token, which really just, I mean, where's the value in that really? But they used that as collateral, and now as all of this was unraveled, it really showed that they literally have no liquidity and they're in shit. And so you had this huge run, 7.2 billion worth of outflows, and here we are today. So let's look at some of the crypto moves that we saw. So if we look in CoinGecko right now, we saw Bitcoin's down 20% over the past 7 days, down 12% over the last 2 hours. It's trading at about, well, let me refresh this, around 16,000 on last check. And Ethereum trading at 1,150. Got Binance. Binance is down 14.5%. So we just saw basically big losses across the board. But one of the biggest ones that got lost was Solana. Now, Solana has dropped half of its value in the last 7 days and over a third of its value just in the past 1 day alone. If we look over here, Solana was trading 20. Well, if we look at the last 7 days, Solana was trading in the 35 handles and now trading at around $14.12. Now, why is Solana getting hit so much? So Solana is one of the tokens that was being supported by FTX, and now with this FTX going down, there's a real fear amongst investors that they'll have to unwind their Solana positions, and hence everyone trying to front run this. And we've seen here this article by CoinDesk saying that around $800 million of Sol tokens are likely to be unstaked. That represents approximately 15% of the circulating supply. And so this is what's led to the big decline in Solana. If we read this first paragraph, the epic come down of SBF's crypto exchange and Alameda trading research firm are making waves in the market and Solana blockchain token, to the point where some investors have apparently become so nervous that they're demanding back tokens that they had staked or deposited into the blockchain's underlying security protocol. Early this week, and then this paragraph basically talks about what's happened with FTX earlier. So the real fear was that Alameda might need to sell some of its Sol tokens to raise liquidity, and that fear had sent the Sol price tumbling. So this was one of the biggest casualties of the FTX decline, and we've seen it down 54% at $14. Now, if we look back to a 90-day, or let's look about 1 year even, or max. So Solana hasn't got this low since 2021. Yeah, March of 2021. So we're going back over 1.5 years since Solana has been that low. And this is after it was trading at around $1, $2 for much of 2020. Actually hit over 250. So what It's a gigantic, huge decline, pretty much 100% retrace of this whole move up from July 21 all the way to November 21. So yeah, so here we are. So this is what's happening in crypto, and then that reverberated into the overall market, as well as interest rate issues that we had at the midterm elections, where it wasn't that red wave that everyone was forecasting. It actually ended up being a relatively decent day for the Democrats. Again, I don't think that really had much of a play on the market, but I also think there's a lot of jitterishness ahead of tomorrow's CPI number. Again, we've seen 2 months in a row where CPI is coming ahead of expectations, and we've seen gigantic moves lower. And I think now, coming on to the October CPI readings, there's that same bit of skittishness, and we can see that if we actually look at the chart for the S&P, we had a over 2% decline in the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Dow, front running this CPI number tomorrow. So if we do get anything, I mean, the bearish sentiment is so high right now, but if we do get any sort of a positive surprises on CPI tomorrow, I think we're going to have a rip your gloves off rally. It's going to be absolutely insane, but whether we get that or not, well, that's the question. So if we look at the S&P right now, we had this big downtrend. We bounced off that just under 3,600 mark, and we had a nice rally over 10%. But then we did find resistance at this slightly rising trend line, marking resistance at just over 3,900. And since then, we've come back down about 150 points and currently trading at around 3,760. So where do we go from here? I mean, if we do get a bad CPI print, we could be heading right back towards 36.63 before eventually hitting 35.57, which was the low. The low seen back in October. We actually did reach low just above 3,500 on the bottom of this candle wick. But I mean, this is what we're looking at. But if we do see a good number tomorrow, I mean, we could push well back above 3,800, back towards 3,900. So this is where we are with the S&P. It's been definitely a tough market right now. There's no two ways about it. It's seen numerous massive declines in stocks, especially Tesla. I talked about it before. Elon Musk did sell $4.5 billion worth of Tesla shares, most likely for its Twitter acquisition, of course. And today we saw another 7% decline. And we saw Nvidia, which has had a great run actually from the low, coming back towards that 133 mark. And we've seen a lot of these crypto plays obviously get absolutely hit. We had Coinbase. Coinbase is trading just above 45. If we look at this chart. It was down 9.5% today after being down 9.5% yesterday. Well, about 9% yesterday. So it's been a bit of a rough one for all the crypto stocks. Riot, Mara, all of them suffering quite a lot. But to be honest, what do we do here? That's the real question. And I mean, I think it's a very difficult play to go along crypto. I mean, it just seems like to be in a really bad space right now. I mean, you could probably tell that I'm a bit of a chancer. When you see some of these type of moves, why not just try to, go a bit long? But if I had my choice, I'd rather go long a Coinbase than the actual crypto in itself. I feel like Coinbase will have the most gain if we have a rebound in cryptos. So I did initiate a position on Coinbase. I did sell some 40 puts. And also for the sake of the money discourse portfolio, had a 55-53 bull put spread, which is obviously underwater right now. Sadly, I put on that trade one day before this all came out, which is my fault. I should have seen that coming, given that tweet by SBF saying that assets are fine. As soon as someone finds a need to say that, then you're in trouble. So if we look at, let's have a quick look at the portfolio actually. Money discourse. It's been, after a bit of a good run, it's been a bit of a tricky one. We're still up about $800 on this 10 grand portfolio, which is about 8% return. Haven't been down about 12-13% earlier, but there's a few positions that are not looking good. China has been the bane of my existence. I don't know why I keep on doing it, but Baidu's got absolutely smashed, as is Baba. It's got currently a Baba position on right now. Baidu's well underwater. We've got about 2.5 weeks, hopefully, to salvage that, but I don't see that really happening. Had GameStop that just looked strong, but now it finally gave away. But we've got a good time on that one. GDX was a nice trade, 2-day trade. I put on a trade on November the 3rd. And a couple of trading days later, I managed to take over 60% of the max profit on that one. So that turned out good. Coinbase is what I mentioned. ExxonMobil finally going down, so that's a good one over here. And Disney. We saw Disney report earnings, miss on the top and bottom line, and the stock got absolutely slaughtered, down around 13%. So I put on a trade there, taking in roughly $90. And again, I was a bit premature on that one, but I feel like I've got good time on that one, over 1.5 months for that one to hopefully find a base and sort of rally and push back towards that 100 mark. And that should hopefully bring in something there and end the year on a high for us. But again, it's not been easy. It's been very, very tough, very, very tough trading. And yep, it's just a matter of just sticking in there, keeping your size, your risk in check. Don't play too big, don't over leverage, and hopefully that will get you out on the other side without blowing up. So yep, just keep trading safe, and again, don't risk too much. Have a good one, and we'll catch you on the next one.